Hi folks, my name is Linda Emmett and welcome to Happiness is an Inside Job. We are the creators of our own reality, we create our own lives. Our mind is our biggest limit and it's our own beliefs, behaviours and habits constantly caught in those cycles that keep us trapped where we are and stand in the way of our own happiness. So throughout this podcast, we're going to take a deep dive into some of those beliefs, habits and patterns, where they show up in your lives and what you can do to change them. Hi Noodles and welcome to this week's podcast. And what I really want to dive into this week is the collective ego. And this is for two reasons. One, because it's the world we live in today, and no matter how much we work on ourselves internally, we do have to show up within this external world. We have to live in the world that we're in, and at the moment, where everything that's going on, that can be quite scary. And it doesn't align with who we truly are. And the second reason I want to cover the collective ego is because it's actually a piece out of the book that I'm writing about 100 years now. So I'm really passionate about it. And I do want to share this, which is on how we can rebalance ourselves in the world we live in and what we can do and what I truly believe is behind some of it. So first off, guys, in today's world, the challenges we face at the moment, we live in a time where stress and self-loathing, addiction and violence, these forms of self-abuse are just the norm. Social media tells us what we should be reading, what we should be watching, what we should be wearing and how we should be thinking. We have the likes of our magazines, our newspapers, our TVs. They're filled with everything we should and should not be doing, how we should be celebrating, how we should be behaving, what we should be paying, what we should be thinking. And we are relentlessly being programmed by these should nots, shoulds, must nots, must do's, and this all creates a huge amount of the stress that we're living within, or the self-loathing, because we're not reaching these paradigms that are being put in front of us constantly. The news fills us with darkness and horror constantly. And so and once your TV, if you're using an up-to-date TV, picks up on this, your phone is picking up on it, so you're being bombarded. And this is all the data that's being collected about you behind the scenes and then is relentlessly putting this in front of you and therefore programming you into that stressed, fearful state all over again. And even down to the self-loathing, we can feel powerless within all that to live the way we want to live or to even have any impact on what's going on around us. You look at social media and cancel culture it's the new trend in a number of ways. In my opinion, we've actually become more oppressed now than we ever have been. There's no thought or no opinion in and around diversity that's actually allowed. If your opinion is deemed outside what's now known as the woke opinion or the woke culture, you're defiled, you're threatened, your family is threatened, and a lot of the time you're cancelled off media. And what's happening is, again, in my opinion, this woke culture fights intolerance but uses intolerance to do it. They stamp down the opinions of anything that doesn't match their own. And again, this is back to the egoic mind. And this includes, your sex, religion, gender, colour, or, it's all censored. It all has to fit in with the paradigm of this woke culture. And we're more afraid now to have an opinion than we ever were. And that's crushing us as individuals. You're crushing one person's rights for another. And again, this is the collective ego having the power, because we're reacting, and the woke culture is reacting from the same place that created that separation and the judgment in the first place. And again, it'd be my thinking that this constantly drives separation. It drives separation between genders, cultures, sexes, women, men, All of these things. And for as long as we're separated and believing we're powerless or believing we're different or believing we're alone, we're not seeing ourselves as the collective, the source that we are. And this all feeds the egoic world that we're now living in. You know, and I'm aware, guys, I sound passionate about this, which is why it's in the book, because I am really passionate about it. And it's, if you look at media, if you look at TV today, if you open your phone today, you'll see it. You know, you see it constantly. We show our outrage at the violence in the world with violence, and we, you know, the violence then within our own thought system absolutely terrifies us, because we see these horrific things. We have these, you know, we create new stories, new realities in our heads. If we had the power, or I do this, or I tear them apart, or I do that, and then that terrifies us. But again, everything that's being put in front of us is creating fear, is creating terror, is creating stress, and that's where we're constantly responding from. We're responding from our own egos, which is feeding into the collective that we're surrounded with. And it's shifting from that. We rage against injustices and the absolute horror that we're seeing. By perpetuating that same energy, it creates the same energy within us. And that's the vibration we're then putting out into the world. We're feeding that same collective ego. And whether we're attacking with our minds or we're attacking with our actions, we're in it. We're inside of it. And it sends, as I say, that vibration out into the collective, out into the ego, out into what is driving a lot of what's going on around us at the moment. And another thing that, you know, gets my goat is, you know, productivity itself, being as productive as humanly possible. This hustle mentality, productivity has become our new religion. And it's down to, again, what we've internalized. It's internalized, you know, capitalism, internalizing within us that, you know, our value is in what we have rather than who we are. You know, the basic infrastructure of how we live our lives now is all based around it, and everything is productivity, having bigger, having better, having faster, dominating as much as possible, so as we're not dominated. And we've become so accustomed to this, so accustomed to feeling this way, that we need to be of more value constantly, that we've lost sight of what's real. And then, as I say, our own thoughts, even though they're not our actions, our own thoughts are violence, because our own thoughts are rage, our own thoughts are judgment, because that's what we're being sucked in by. That's the quicksand that we're trying to get through. And there's one saying that I absolutely love, and it's, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hatred cannot drive out hatred. Only love can do that. And that's as true of our hearts as it is of the world that we're living in. And it is changing what we're caught up in, what we're absorbing, what we're taking in, this mass programming. It's stepping out of that and being in the spaces that have us coming from love, have us coming from compassion, have us coming from who we truly are, rather than what's driven by the collective ego, because that is what drives the world we're living in today. And there's, again, you know, there's one very simple sentence: we learn nothing from history. We are repeating it, but there's bigger weapons, there's, you know, more what is effectively genocide going on in the world today. No matter what sides, it's genocide that's happening. They're literally eradicating cultures, groups of people, and this is all based on more power, more resources, and more money, absorbing as much external as you can, being the superpower. And we're sitting being fed all this and absolutely terrified in the middle, and we're reacting from that. So what we need to look at is where we're coming from within ourselves, what we're surrounding ourselves with, and changing the environment that our mind is in, changing what it's absorbing, changing what it's taking in, to make any real change in the world, to be a part of starting to change the vibration that's going out there from us. Because although it looks like the collective ego is ruling the world. And don't get me wrong, there are some absolute monsters in power. Us as a collective, as our collective energy, we have the power to make amazing changes on this planet, amazing changes from the space that we're in. But it is within shifting ourselves away from what we're being bombarded with is where our own change begins, because that leaves us a little bit more open to start absorbing what we need to absorb, what feeds us, what makes us feel calm, what makes us feel safe, what makes us feel at peace. Because a lot of the time we will be out there, we'll be bombarded by this. Say, how many hours are we on our phone? I know my phone, horrible admittance, but my phone averages 3.5 hours a day, and that's without what I might put on TV or anything like that. That's what I'm absorbing. And then I might do a 10-minute meditation at night. One doesn't rebalance the other. So it's feeding our minds with more, and our emotional system and our spirit with more of what feeds it. More that, as I say, brings you that peace, brings you that contentment, brings you that safety, because that is where we're coming from. As I say, within the world that we're living in, you know, we can sometimes feel, especially by what we're taking in, that the collective ego is screaming at us all the time, you know, conform or be destroyed. It's the collective ego is it's filled with, you know, oppression, rage, and oftentimes with what we're seeing, folks, you know, unfathomable cruelty that we cannot wrap our minds around. It drives separation. We can be left in the midst of it all, feeling a bit voiceless, a bit powerless, and that can be scary. But the reason I'm creating this, and it's even in the book, is because in my heart and what I know, and from the very source of what I am, I know that the collective awakening is happening all around us. And that's why the collective ego is rising and the darkness is rising as much as it is, because that is happening around us, and it is in every one of us our divine choice to be part of the collective awakening or the collective ego. And a lot of that comes down to what we are feeding ourselves. We are in, you know, the great news in all of this is we are in the most amazing time. We are here to witness, and with our own personal choice, be a part of the most amazing show on earth, the awakening of consciousness. And that is happening all around us. We can see it in our young people growing up. We can see it in what we're looking for now. We know that we don't feel right in this world. We know that we don't feel okay with what's going on. We know we feel a little bit powerless, and so much more of us are seeking to reconnect with what we truly are and why we're truly here. And that in itself is driving the collective awakening, and we have such power in that. We here on this planet, like, we get to stand on the shoulders of giants, those who have come before us, and they stand there like shining beacons, and we're standing on their shoulders. They're guiding our paths. And I know, like, it takes a shift in stepping away from what we're being bombarded with, and absorbing what we need to be absorbing, and taking in and reconnecting with everything that you are. But the foundation's already laid for us. You know, the legacy is there. The conscious awakening is happening on this planet right here, right now. And as I say, it is our choice to be a part of that, to be a part of making those amazing changes, putting that vibration out there, shifting. It's all energy. We all know that. That's what we come from. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. We are energy. It comes down to what we're putting out there, and that relies directly on the environment we're in, by both emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Where are you living from? Are you living from the rage, the judgment, the upset, the fear? Or are you living from peace, living from joy, living from love, living from compassion, living from those spaces? We can be a part of the violence, the rage, and the judgment, or we can be a part of the change, the awakening, the love, the creating something absolutely amazing for everybody that comes after us. Our ancestors only dreamed of the lives we have now. And we get to now carry that forward and change on this planet. But this comes from how we are each and every day, what we're absorbing, and what we need in our life is to be reconnecting with everything that we are, reconnecting with our energy, reconnecting with the spirit of who we are, the source, everything that we need to drive that vibration up, to be a part of something bigger. And this also, I'm an avid believer, and it's something that I'm creating myself to be a part of this. And it's where even this podcast comes from. It comes from creating that change, creating that happiness within. But now I've realised how important community is. It's not about just doing, say, one meditation a week. And just because that's not enough, you get those amazing feels, you get that feeling of peace, that feeling of contentment. But then you're going out into the external world. It's about learning to take these tools with you, learning to have your opinions, learning to shut off the TV, to shut off the phone, find your opinions within the world that you're living, find the love, find the connection, find the peace. Find the outdoors, finding the living your dreams, your desires, the experience, getting into communities. And that's, as I say, something that I now know. I've been saying it for years, but I'm doing it. I want to build a community that promotes this, that drives the conscious awakening. That's a space that we can be in, that you can meditate, you can talk about these type of things, you can connect with the spiritual side of yourself, the energy side, you can understand more about your subconscious, how we can change the patterns and be a part of the change, be a part of that conscious awakening. We all know when we hear those negative thoughts or those violence thoughts, there's that part of you, there's the part of you that's thinking those thoughts, and there's that other part of you going, that you that's going, Jesus, where did they come from? Or what's driving that? Or, oh my God, that's terrifying that I'm thinking that. That's the you. That's you. That's the real you. The rest is just the egoic fear. That person that's asking those questions, that person that has that deep intuition, that deep knowing that you're so much more than what this gunk and this crap tells you. That's what changes. That's who we need to be connecting with, to, as I say, drive the changes that the world needs now, to recognise that we're not powerless. We are the power. And that's why separation is driven so much around us, because us as a collective, the vibration, the ripple effect we'd be sending across the planet is so powerful. We could make immense changes, and coming together as communities is what we need to be doing to change all of that. And it also counterbalances what's in your external world, what you're seeing, what you're around. Being around that community, being around those people that raise your energy, that think the way you do, that feel the way you do, that's where we need to be coming from. That's true change, and that's us using our phenomenal, unique space on this planet to create the change you want, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones, for everyone. So rather than us feeling, that we have to reap what we've sown, what we need to do is replant. Replant from where we are now, replant from today, replant from making the choice to change the environment that your mind is in, to be a part of, as I say, the awakening and not the collective ego, the conscious awakening. Choose that for you. Choose to be part of those communities, to connect with that from within you. Choose for you, choose for the world, choose for your own happiness. As I say, guys, I'm really, really passionate about this, because I think we can often feel so disempowered when you are the power. You come directly from source, it channels through you. The only thing that we need to step through is our disconnection from it, and our connection to the five senses and the egoic mind. The minute we really start deeply connecting and surrounding ourselves with what we need to feed that, that's, as I say, that changes the vibration. And the more of us doing that, the more change we're creating. So that's it for me for this week, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it and got some fabulous takeaways. And as always, I invite you to connect in with me across social media, or check me out on my website, www.yourgifttoyou.com, or email me, linda@ yourgifttoyou.com, guys, because I'd love to hear from you and any topics you'd like for us to talk about or any more learnings that you want. And please remember, give me those reviews because it keeps the podcast getting out there to more people. So chat to you very soon, guys. Bye bye.